Zulu for I see you, which is their greeting instead of hi. Start every speech like that because to me that's the one thing that we should keep taking away is the fact that the real difference in all this medium than the old days is that we can see individual people. I can see AJ and Melissa. I can see people who matter to me out in this crowd. That's the biggest, most important difference. I'm going to give away some other people's books. I think it's kind of douchey to give away your own book. Douchey's a technical term for those of us who are Puritans. This book is Donald Miller's book, A Million Miles in a Thousand Years, What I Learned by Editing My Life. Donald is a Christian writer, don't let that scare you. I love God, I hate his fans. And Donald wrote a really, really popular book called Blue Like Jazz, and they decided to make a movie out of it, which is already weird. But in doing that, he discovered that Donald as a character is a lot different than Donald as a person. And in so doing, he also sort of found a way to rediscover his life. So I have no idea how I'm going to give these out. I just, I have some and I wanted to give you them so that they weren't in my office. And they're yellow. I wanted to talk about the frontiers all around us, and I will be tight as tight can be, and I will get us out of here because I realize I'm standing between you and lunch, and lunch is important. It's not the worst speaking time slot I've given. One time it was me between people and their beer in another country, in Amsterdam. And so I learned Dutch rather quickly, and got the phonetic of, I realize I'm what's standing between you and your beer, so please, no questions. Standing ovation. What I want you to do is just answer this question, what can I do with all this? This is really the most important thing, the takeaway part of this is what can I do with all this? Because, besides trying to be funny, I actually have some points. They're sharp. And I want you to sort of take this and run with it, because otherwise we've wasted our time here, right? Because you can watch TV. First off, where I'm coming from with this whole frontier is all around us, besides the fact there was a Levi's commercial, which I thought was actually pretty darn neato, about figuring out that there's all this opportunity around us. Our eyes just haven't retuned to see it. We're at a 9.5% nationwide unemployment rate, 20% up in Detroit. 9.5, 1 in 10 folks is out of work for like 16 to 24 months. It's not exactly their mistake anymore, it just is right now. Good to see you, Liz. But the thing is, I think we broke something on the way to discovery again. We are looking for jobs, but we've forgotten how to look for work because they're so dramatically different. And that is, if I had to give you my first giant anchor point, stop looking for jobs, look for work. In the old days, people would do this really well. I have a friend, Keith, who told me the other day, he goes, I'm buying a dump truck. And I said, well, that's interesting, because he's an arborist, so he cuts down trees, and I'm not sure how those two relate. And I said, well, what are you going to do with the dump truck? He goes, it's a dump truck. I can dump things. I was like, holy crap. You can. But that sounds so stupid, but it's so true. I had another guy, Bruce, who was my landlord for a while, a long time ago, and he bought a bunch of little crappy Toyota trucks for like $400 each, and put plows on them. And he said, I'm just going to do my own snowplow business. I got all these cars for $400 each. This is like a total winner. And then Boston had 5 years of no snow. It was awesome. He had this fleet of trucks that he couldn't use. But he was looking for work. He wasn't looking for jobs. If we take a big field and there's 20 people just standing in it, they don't really know what to do anymore. They're just standing in a field. If I put one soccer ball in the middle of the field, it dictates what happens next, right? If I gave each one of them a shovel, it would dictate what happens next. These things are how we have to start looking at what we're doing out there, what we're doing in the space. Because no one's bringing the soccer ball, it's you. It's up to you. You're just standing in the field. It's yours to win. It's yours to do. We also have certain problems with scale and perspective. On one side, we don't look big enough. We don't look at big enough scale stuff. I'll tell you a little story about that in 1 second. But then the other side of it is, when we do finally see a bigger picture, we get so flipped out by it that we don't know what to do next, right? We get stuck in that sort of loop of, oh God, this is big and hairy and I don't know what to do. One bite at a time, and that's how we eat elephants, right? I was in Birmingham, Alabama, and I want to tell you a tale of two tables. I was brought down there by this guy, Merrill Stewart, Jr., for the Green Building Conference, because I know everything about green building. shit, I'm single-handedly destroying the environment. I asked for double styrofoam on everything. I do, plastic bags. I want to develop a new planet, and I figure we just have to wreck this one first, because that's how we do things here. Anyway, that's beside my point. So I'm in Birmingham, and on one side I go to this table full of bloggers, and they're awesome, brilliant bloggers, just wonderful people doing local stuff. Eat local, do local, my dog is local, you know, all this stuff, right? And they're like, wow! And on the other side I go to this place, and it's full of these amazing, brilliant people. This woman whose husband brought like the auto industry to Birmingham, because by the way, Alabama is where all your cars are being made. Mercedes, Benz, BMW, Hyundai, Toyota, blah, 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 blah. All in Alabama. Who knew? And she's now working on bringing bamboo forestry to Alabama. In 5 years, it only takes 5 years to grow a 100-foot tall tree, 10-plus-inch diameter, perfectly straight, like ship mast straight. 5 years they can turn over a forest. It's mind blown. These people had no idea who these people were. These people couldn't have got the word out if they tried. These people could get the word out about their lunch. See that? Ooh, is there an opportunity there? These people were world builders, and these people were world imagineers. This is true of Boston, it's true of everywhere I've been, but Alabama was stark and vivid, and it showed me a way. It showed me something we should all be doing. We need to get those two tables together. So it's not that your project is stupid, maybe it is. It's that there's really bigger things you could be taking on, and it would be way more interesting. I'm not crapping on any particular type of blogger, kind of. The guy who runs Bizarre Voice, whose name is totally not in my head, Ted or something like that, he said to me one time, we're rediscovering the marketplace. And not unlike Marcel Lebrun at Radiant 6 when he said that we're listening at the point of need and didn't realize that it was an awesome statement and he should have written a book all around that one sentence. We're rediscovering the marketplace is really true of right now. We're having this whole thing about buy local, we're having this whole thing about location-based services and how wild they are, and I'm still not a subscriber to that. But I think that web local is huge. I think that the opportunity from on the web, off the web, off the web, and on the web is the real big frontier that we all have opportunity in helping. For example, there's probably somebody you know in your local area who has an amazing product that they sell at a storefront or at a place or in a small local distribution. Should you help them get distribution out to the greater web, and should you help them figure out the whole shipping and all that sort of thing, they have tons more customers. I know this because I was riding in a car being grilled by one of my new coworkers and employees' wives because I'd stolen him away from a mainstream job to come and join my circus, just like Jeff stole me years ago. And she was trying to make sure that he really did have a job and that I really would be able to pay him and things like that. And so she's kind of quizzing me on how to run the business. And she said, well, my friend sells whoopie pies. Which, by the way, I've only told this story once otherwise, and everyone in the audience made that dog look because it wasn't New England. I was like, whoopie pies, and they went. So I said, I don't know, kind of like ring beans, but bigger and nicer. But anyway, I talked her through the whole web local thing and how I could probably give that woman so much business that she'd have to hire more friends and build what I'm calling kitchen table companies. That's a later talk. But we are rediscovering the marketplace. I mean, we have people like Andy Dixon who's going to plant seeds in troubled children and help them stay out of jail. And we have Chris Penn who's helping people find their superhero. Julian and I are working on a new book that has nothing to do with social media and everything to do with sort of rediscovering the world around us and how do we put something in it. AJ and Melissa are helping nonprofits. There's a lot of people out there doing great stuff. Carissa's helping the first responders of the world. We are figuring out these new kinds of things and we are planting our seeds and we need to keep doing it. I was reading A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. I almost said Shakespeare, which, you know, four literary people in the audience have been like, Movable Feast by Hemingway, and he was talking about his time when he was writing in Paris, and you know, he was dirt poor, he was absolutely starving, and he was just barely making it, and couldn't really pay for this or that some days, and went without meals some days. It reminded me about 2007, when I started traveling all around the country, and then into 2008. There were times when I had no money. Like when I would land at a different city to go to a conference, I had used my mortgage money to pay for the ticket to the conference, and I'd go to take $100 out of the ATM, and there wouldn't be $100. So I'd go to take 20 out, and there wouldn't be 20. I'm like, those times are when, if the conference didn't have food, I wouldn't eat. And I'm glad to say that I've gone from ramen noodles to 5-star hotels, but I had to really work at that, and you can too. But don't forget that everybody, including the Hemingways of the world, had to be hungry before they got where they needed to go. So if you're looking for comfort, there are these things called jobs that are slowly being extinguished in our culture, and you could try there for a little while. Beware the Matrix. There are many Matrixes out there. And by the way, there's only one Matrix movie. I will fight anyone who disagrees. Those other two are an accident. Kind of throat clearing. There are many Matrixes. If you ask the question, how many followers do I have? Go to hell. Who gives a shit? There are other things to fight. What kind of blog software are you using? Who cares? Go to hell. Do something useful with it. No one asked Hemingway what kind of pencils he wrote with. I don't know why I'm on Hemingway. I've just been reading his books lately. Beware the Matrix. There's lots of things that will hang you up. Don't ever think of your job ever again as a safe haven. You're not safe there. It's just an investment. A job is an investment in some time where you're going to get a check. It's okay. Use it that way. Make it a part of your portfolio company of you. I'm way blowing it on time. Build and maintain healthy networks is really important, but I think Penn did a great job of talking about it. Julian probably will too. But we need to feed our networks. We need to pay attention to people like the Colonnade who have really opened their doors to us, and in New York it's the Roger Smith Hotel. We need to make those places ours and patronize them. We need to keep giving our network and our system and our people who matter more and more value, because delivering more value to those networks gives something back. Sullivan Tire is here. When was the last time a tire company came to a convention about nerds? Right? That's where you should be buying your tires. Support the people who support the network. You're welcome. I have a 2010 Chevy Camaro. I need some new tires. Or I will. And feed opportunity to where it's needed. Ask not how someone can be helpful to you, but ask how you can help others. And you know what? If you want to do it really cool, do it like Tim Sanders. Sanders says, and deliver value without asking for anything. And don't say, how can I help you? Say, here's 7 things I thought up that would be really helpful to you. He blew my mind one day. He goes, I want to call you, I want to talk to you for 15 minutes. It's going to be the best 15 minutes of your life. It's going to blow your mind. Okay. Most times when people call me like that, they're asking for something. So I was just kind of like on my back foot. I'm like, oh, it's going to blow. He like connected to me to all these people and all these like really important people that I needed to get to know, and he just did it for no good reason except that that's how Tim rolls. If you read the book Love is the Killer App, you'll see why. Connect people. I'm not going to talk about that. Always make media. Always make media. The one big difference between us and everybody who came before is that you must always make media. And the reason is that we have been leading these little silent revolutions for way too long. And just like the story of El Salvador and finding missing people and all this and the lost children, there's stories that need to happen. Andy has a story, Gio tells stories all the time with this living museum. There's lots of stories out there. These things help us connect with people who are like us, and we buy from people who are like us. Take small bites off of these big ideas, but do have a big idea. Do look really big, and look around you first and see what kind of places you can find out what you're going to do. Take small bites. It's okay. I mean, my ideas, my business ideas are always pathetically small. Hey, what if I did this? Do I know how to reach those people? Oh, how can I deliver something to them? What's the price point? How many times could I do that so that I could make a living? Oh, I'm like really crappy at math, but I'm really good at figuring this times this equals how much money I would be happy at. And I do that math all damn day. All damn day, definitely. Find big work for you and others. The other thing that we're doing a little interestingly is we're making these little escape velocity businesses that buy beer money and then hopefully dinner money and then hopefully, if you're lucky, mortgage money. Find even bigger things. I'm starting to figure out ways that we can get jobs to 100 people at a time. I mean, I'm not smart enough to go bigger than 100 yet. The people who do things like bring car dealerships to, car manufacturers to Alabama aren't me yet. I can only figure out 10 to 100. But do help, do try to figure that out. And don't think you can't, by the way. I wouldn't be talking to you if I thought you couldn't do any of the things I'm telling you. You just have to give it some work.